Tonight is meant to be, in many ways, very simple as we celebrate the Lord's Supper. Tonight's Mass is called the Mass of the Lord's Supper. So crucial to tonight's liturgy is the washing of feet. And what we hear in the washing of the feet is Jesus giving us an example to follow. He says it so explicitly, I'm doing this so that you can do likewise, so that you will do the same. One of the questions that is often asked of me as a priest from people that are coming seeking advice or counsel on how they should behave, what they should do in this situation, how they should react to this action of their relative or loved one. So often people seek the advice of the priest in how to respond to life's situations. But here tonight, Jesus gives us the model and the example of how we are to treat one another. He washes their feet. And for all those situations where you might say, yes, but do you realize what this person has done to me? Do you realize what this person has said to me? I think we have to bear in mind that Jesus washed the feet of Judas, knowing what he was going to do, knowing how this was going to play out. He washed his feet, not in any way insincere. He washed his feet with utter love, as only Jesus could do. That's the example that we have to follow. That is the model that we have to follow. We are meant to wash the feet of the people that God puts in our path. And we do that in so many ways, but we can't possibly do that by holding a grudge, by being vengeful. We can't do that by holding back forgiveness. We are called to serve. And I'm sure that the minute that I say that, you might think of individuals in your life or situations, relationships where you know this applies, and you have to choose a different path than the one you have chosen thus far. That's why Jesus gives us this example. He wants us to know and to see what it's supposed to look like. This all happens before the meal, before they fully partake of this Last Supper with the Lord. Tonight, I invite you to ask the Lord's guidance, to ask the Lord's inspiration for those places in your life where you need to be washing feet and instead find yourself doing something else, where you need to be forgiving and loving and extending open arms where maybe your hearts are closed and your arms too. Like the Lord, we have to be ready to bend down and serve one another, even if we believe the people to be undeserving of our service, as if anybody could be. Because the moment we begin to put this into practice, we really serve Jesus. The person to whom we show what we might consider to be undeserved compassion, we love as we love Jesus. The person to whom we extend the olive branch of forgiveness for the umpteenth time, we do that in love of Jesus. He gives us this beautiful example to follow with such a simple, demeaning act, a humble act that is so powerful and so eloquent. Living in Rome for as long as I did, it was always such a meaningful experience for people to go to Rome and see the Pope himself bending down and washing the feet of people on this night, as he does in St. Peter's Basilica tonight. All of us, from the Pope down to the least known Catholic in our whole church, are called to follow this example and imitate Jesus. Each one of us has to put this into practice in our own way. Each one of us has to apply this to the unique situations of our lives, but we are meant to do it to the full, especially for those we might consider to be undeserving. Who could be undeserving of our love and our compassion? If we're really Christians, everyone deserves that. Just as we, who could easily be considered undeserving from God's perspective, have been given so freely the love that God has to give, how can we possibly as Christians hold that back from the people that he puts in our path? Perhaps precisely so that they can experience from our life and our witness the example of what Jesus has done. And so as we enter into this liturgy tonight, may we be inspired by what Jesus has done for us, has done for his disciples, has done in all the ways that he has washed our feet, that he has served us, that he has come to meet us. It's such an amazing thing that God humbles himself to come to us. He comes to our home, he comes to our life, he comes to our heart and to our soul. And he doesn't have to, and we don't deserve it. But he does it anyway. And out of love for him, we do the same.